Okay. Hello, everyone in Keller, Mid-Willamette, and beyond. We're happy to be here again on a Wednesday for Leadership Conversations. Team leader Laura Gleason and myself, Kristen Wilson, operating principal. And thank you for joining
Keller Williams Mid-Willamette.
Right, absolutely. Where entrepreneurs thrive. And this is a great topic today to thrive in our business. We are once again in the Shift book, and we are at Shift Tactic 5, which is one of my favorite chapters, right? Laura, you feel the same?
I do.
Yeah, we're very passionate about this topic, everyone. So we're excited to talk about it and also maybe ignite some passion for you in it.
Yes.
It's lead conversion, right? Get to the table, lead conversion.
Yes.
And, Laura, tell us a little bit about what stands out to you in this.
Okay. I was thinking about this in preparation for us to talk about it today. I was thinking about last week's topic was lead generation. This week's topic is lead conversion. And I was thinking in my mind, we talk a lot about lead generation and lead follow-up. And I was like, man, which skill is the most important? And I couldn't say one is more important than the other because they so much go hand in hand with having a successful sales career. And then as I was looking through this chapter, I just saw it I've read it so many times, and then I read it again and I saw it in a completely different light this time around, which is so fun. Because you unpack it differently every time. And you and I were just saying that it's so full of amazing stuff. So I highly encourage everyone to reread it. And what stands out for me is, I teach a class, one of my favorite classes to teach, called The Fortunes in the Follow-Up. And after rereading this chapter, I think I would almost change the title of the class to be The Fortune is in the Conversion.
I like it.
And I was thinking, well, what's more important, lead generation or lead follow-up? I always say there's no point in generating a lead if you're not going to follow up with it. And yet I'm realizing do you agree, Kristen? We say those two words all the time, lead generation, lead follow-up. We talk about it all the time. And there's a key little part missing, which is lead conversion. And at first I was thinking, well, my three top skills would be lead generation, lead follow-up, and skill development, because skill development leads to higher conversion rates, right? Yeah. That's what we talk about when we talk about developing your skills, is that you're getting higher conversion rates. And so now I think I would actually change my order based on reading this. They really talk about lead follow-up being cultivation, and that the goal is to get to the table and to get now business. And yet at the same time, we are in a lifetime business. Real estate is a business for a lifetime. And every no is one step closer to a yes. And sometimes people are a not yet. They're not a no, they're just a not yet or a not ready. And so we follow up, or we cultivate them until they are ready, right? Yeah. So now I think I would change my order it would be lead generation, lead conversion,
yes,
and then lead follow-up or lead cultivation.
Yeah.
And that to me just was such an eye-opener this time around. And reading this chapter is, when I teach it, because I love to teach on these topics, I probably will change a bit how I'm teaching it to really focus more on the conversion part and how important it is to get to the table. And that's really the difference between an agent who may be just getting by and an agent who is super successful, is they focus on their skill development around lead conversion.
Absolutely.
So those are the things I thought about. And then the other part that I just thought was so beautiful about this chapter is back to mindset. And it talks about the mindset of service.
Yeah.
And it says, while we serve others, we serve ourselves. Right? We're not in this is not a charity. We're not in this business. We're in this business because we love to serve, but we also love to get paid. It's not a charity. And so I always think back to that quote, you reap what you sow. And that to me is that mindset of service. The more you give, the more you'll receive. And I love how they added that part into this chapter, because I think what happens with real estate agents is we have such amazing hearts, and we have hearts of service. We care about people. We want to take care of them well. We also know that the better we take care of our clients, the more clients we're going to get, because they become our cheerleaders and they pass on. Work with Kristen, she's amazing. I was talking to Joel Getzfried the other day in our office, and he was talking about how he got to help his best friend's kids buy a house. And it wasn't even really in our county, it was a little farther away. And the best friend said, there's no question, you work with Joel, there's nobody else. I don't care if you find an agent closer, he's your guy. That's a mindset of service right there. That's amazing. And Joel just getting the honor to take care of his favorite people, right? As an example. And to me, that just goes back to you reap what you sow. And I love that part of this as well, because it takes the boringness or the scariness out of the skill development and reminds you of why you are in this business.
Powerful. Yeah. I love that as well, right? And truly you're the servant leader in your own business, right?
Yep.
Everyone we're in business with, everyone that we're in partnership with, they're all leaders of their own business.
Yes. Yeah.
And what better way to display that and also attract referrals and new business by coming from a heart of service.
Yeah. So great.
So valuable.
You can sell a lot of things in sales. There's a lot of things you can sell. Why not sell somebody's best dreams? That's what we sell. We sell dreams. Isn't that amazing?
So amazing. It's a privilege, as you said. It's a privilege. So I love that. I think,
what do you get from this chapter?
Yeah, so much. There's so much. We were talking about how there's so much in this. You could really read just this tactic every day for 30 days, right? And come away with so much skill and mastery in this one topic. It will take you anywhere you want to go in your business.
That's so true.
And I love a couple of things that stood out to me this time was it's a simple formula to get to the table, to set the appointment. And I want to look at it both from strategy and service, as you mentioned. First of all, it is a strategy.
Right.
Setting an appointment is a strategy. We don't get it if we don't ask, right? And it's the biggest opportunity we have to bulletproof prospects and future business.
Yeah.
The sooner we can get an appointment, we are securing future business for ourselves. That's as a strategy, right? Knowing the NAR, National Association of Realtor Statistics, that between 72 and 75, right, over the last 30 years, will work with the first agent that secures the appointment. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you're struggling in your results right now, and maybe you're monitoring how many days or hours you lead gen a week, or how many calls or conversations or connections you're making, maybe adjust your expectation of yourself to becoming an appointment setter.
Yeah.
I had the honor of working with one of in my opinion, the best ISAs in the business, and also coaching and working with teams that have amazing ISAs. And they don't call themselves lead generators. They call themselves appointment setters.
I just wrote that down. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And if you look at your lead gen time as appointment setting time, if you call yourself a professional appointment setter, that's a strategy to bulletproof your prospects, your future business. And then it's an opportunity for service. An opportunity to serve people at a high fiduciary level, which honestly, Laura, isn't that our responsibility?
Yeah.
And I know the busyness of the last couple of years in the market, right? I understand we run out and show a house and go as fast as we can to get the offer in and what have you. We work so hard. But first of all, I would say the opportunity is often most missed on the buy side. We always have an appointment with our seller.
Right.
And what do they get from that? Right? The expectations, the process, the
Right.
education, the ownership of the process with you, right? The strategies on pricing their home, and the agreement, right, to be in partnership to get their home sell and work together. When it's missed on the buy side, oftentimes that's where I see is the opportunity also for missteps and problems.
Yeah.
And working with the buyers and having an appointment and listing the buyer protects your future business. So in the book, in the chapter, it talks about how to use scripts and how to have the conversations to get there, right? To get to the table, to get to that appointment. And a little timeline actually on, gosh, I don't know what page it is, 95, 94. It's a little process, 5 things, right? Get scripts, get your tools, get the scripts are just knowing the right thing to say, right? It's just knowing the right things to say. So what's the right things to say? Ask great questions. One of my favorite. Number 2, don't talk, ask great questions.
Right. 2 ears, 1 mouth.
That's right. And then 3, listen with intentions. Listen with good intentions, right? Practice that, asking good questions and listening at a high level. And then mimic, mirror, match. That's what builds rapport, right? Not that you both like fishing or soccer or Ted Lasso, but even though we do, it's mirror matching. It's mimicking, mirror matching that creates rapport, that helps them feel like you are like them, you're their people. And then practice it daily. Great tools. And then this next section, it talks about connecting questions. So if you're asking yourself, well, what questions do I ask? Right in the book.
There they are.
Questions. They're right there. And then the next section talks about closing. It's time to ask for the appointment. So think of it this way. Every connection you have with a prospective client, buyer or seller, your very first goal, the very first thing in your mind should be, what questions could I ask that will allow me the honor or the privilege to ask to meet together? What are the questions I'm asking that will connect me in a way that they will want to meet with me? Your first job is to get the appointment. And when you do, 75% of those are going to work with you. Right? So you could just
what a great business is that? It's a great business. Do the math.
What's your goal? Do the math, set the appointment rate at knowing 25% may not work with you right now, but at some point in their journey, the other 75 will work with you. And listen, I think set the appointment sooner rather than later.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Would you ever, other than an emergency room situation, allow a doctor to operate on you without having an appointment with him or her first?
No way. Consultation.
And do we really want our real estate business to be an emergency room situation?
Right? This is not triage. No.
Triage is not a way to live your life. It's a once in a while kind of thing, but it's exhausting and stressful if you're living your life that way every single day. Yeah. So set your appointments. Every professional out there has an appointment with you first, and they explain the process before they do the service that they are providing for you. And that's what we are. We're professionals providing a service.
Yeah. And, I think everyone has it in their mind at some point they'll have an appointment with them, right? Except for maybe some buyers. We don't. We meet and we go over the offer, right? Yeah. Best practice is set the appointment, set it as soon as you can, right? And so if somebody's saying, I'm going to buy a house in 9 months, great. That's the exact reason we should be meeting now.
Now, let's get this process started. A lot can
change and happen in 9 months, and on their path and on their journey and in their decision-making process. Do you want to be present for that?
Right.
You get to secure that future business, right? Great tactic, great conversation, good insights, Laura. Thank you so much. And I'm excited to see your fortunes in the conversion class.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Have a great day, everyone.